The morning air in Seoul felt fresh. Little birds perched on the tree branches in the Korea University yard. Students bustled about with energetic faces, some carrying books, others busy chatting with their friends. Amid the crowd, Yin walked beside Jungkook. Her hands were full with books, while Jungkook looked relaxed with one hand in his jacket pocket, the other holding a cup of coffee. From time to time, he glanced at Yin, making sure she didn't fall behind. "Baby, are you sure you don't want me to carry your books?" Jungkook's voice was light, but loud enough that a few students nearby turned their heads. Yin's face instantly flushed. She glanced around in panic. "Oh my god, Jungkook, don't call me baby here. People will hear," she whispered, trying to cover her face with her books. But Jungkook just chuckled, then deliberately repeated louder, "Baby, hurry up. If we're late to class, you're the one the professor will scold." Yin stopped in her tracks, staring at him wide-eyed. "Shh, you did that on purpose, didn't you?" Jungkook leaned down, lips curling into a mischievous smile. "What's wrong with it? I'm your boyfriend, aren't I? Everyone should know." And without them realizing, not too far away, Mina, Yuju, and Yuna had just arrived on campus as well. They froze at the sound of the nickname. "Baby," Mina whispered, her eyes sparkling. "Oh my god, don't tell me they're dating now." Yuju covered her mouth to stifle a laugh. No wonder. Their vibe has always been different. Finally, it's out in the open. Yuna almost squealed, but quickly held herself back. "I can't wait to see Yin's expression. She's probably dying to hide. Ha ha ha." Meanwhile, from the other side, Jaehyun, Yoonwoo, and Minju also noticed. Jaehyun raised an eyebrow with an amused grin. "Well, finally, that kid admitted it." Yoonwoo nudged Minju. "Told you, the way he looks at Yin is not how you look at a friend." Minju chuckled. "Poor Yin, she must be dying of embarrassment right now." As soon as she sat in class, Yin really couldn't concentrate. Her cheeks were still red, her ears burning, while some classmates whispered to each other, glancing at her and Jungkook. While the professor was busy writing notes on the board, Jungkook leaned his chin on his hand, then turned to Yin. With a soft voice, almost a whisper, he asked, "Baby, did you take notes already?" Yin jolted slightly, immediately covering her mouth with her hand. "Jungkook, don't call me that in class again," she hissed in panic. But Jungkook only chuckled quietly. "I like your face when you're embarrassed. It's so cute." Yin lowered her head, hiding her face with her long hair. Inside, she screamed, "God, why did I fall in love with someone this shameless?" But at the same time, her heart beat warmly. That afternoon, during lunch with friends, Yin sat beside Jungkook. Across the table, Mina, Yuju, and Yuna were watching with gossip-filled eyes. As Yin blew on her hot soup, Jungkook suddenly handed her a water bottle. "Baby, careful. If it's too hot, drink this first." Yin looked up in shock. "Oh my god, Jungkook, can't you just once not call me that in front of people?" Everyone at the table burst into laughter. Mina immediately squealed softly. "Finally, it's confirmed. So you two are really dating, right?" Yin could only cover her face with both hands, while Jungkook smiled broadly without the slightest hint of guilt. "Yes, that's right. She's my girlfriend," he said calmly. The table erupted. Mina and her friends cheered, while Jaehyun and the others only shook their heads with knowing grins. Yin was utterly embarrassed, but in her heart, there was a happiness she couldn't hide. Jungkook, without hesitation and full of confidence, showed the world that she was his. That afternoon, the sun leaned toward the west. Golden rays slipped between the leaves, making the city park look warm and romantic. A light breeze carried the scent of flowers from a small garden across the street, while sparrows chirped faintly amid children's laughter. On one of the wooden benches facing a small pond, Yin and Jungkook sat side by side. They had just finished strolling around the city after class. Between them were 2 cups of iced drinks from their favorite cafe, half empty. Yin lowered her head, at first staring at her hands on her lap, but then her eyes stole glances at Jungkook's hand resting casually on his knee. His fingers were long, his nails neat and clean, and the skin of his palm looked warm. Thin veins showed along his arm when he picked up the bottle briefly and set it down again. Yin's cheeks flushed. Her heart beat faster than usual. "I really want to hold that hand," she thought. She had wanted to do it for a long time, even before they were officially dating. But her shy nature always held her back. Even now, with their status changed, her courage was still locked. Without realizing it, her gaze lingered on that hand. Her eyes followed every little movement of Jungkook's fingers, as if they were a magnet she couldn't escape. Suddenly, that deep, warm voice broke her reverie. "Baby," Jungkook called softly. Yin jumped slightly. What is it?" She quickly turned to him. but her face was clearly red. Jungkook smiled faintly, his eyes narrowing playfully. "You've been staring at my hand for quite a while. Find something interesting?" Yin panicked. "What? No, I was just..." Her words died, tongue-tied. She lowered her head again, biting her lower lip. Jungkook chuckled softly, then, without a word, shifted a little closer. Their shoulders nearly touched. Then, with calm but sure movement, he reached for Yin's trembling hand on her lap. Their fingers intertwined, warm. Yin froze. Her eyes widened, her heart pounding so hard it almost hurt. "Jungkook." Her voice was faint, trembling. Jungkook turned, looking at her with a soft smile. "If you want to hold my hand, you don't have to wait for me to do it first. All you need to do is tug on it a little. I'll always give it to you." Yin covered her face with her free hand. "Oh my, don't say things that sweet." Jungkook held back a laugh, tightening his grip. "Why? Embarrassed? But those red cheeks of yours just make me want to pinch them." "Jungkook," Yin huffed, turning away, though she didn't let go of his hand. Leaning closer, Jungkook whispered, "You know, I've always loved watching you get flustered. It's adorable. You're shy, but your heart is always honest." Yin sneaked a glance, her gaze trembling. "I'm afraid I'll look weird." Jungkook shook his head gently. "Weird? No, you just look sweet. And you know what? When you stared at my hand earlier, I almost couldn't hold back my smile. I knew you wanted to hold it, so I helped make it happen." Yin lowered her gaze, a small smile tugging at her lips. "Thank you, though I feel even more embarrassed now." "That's fine," Jungkook replied quickly, eyes full of affection. "Because I love seeing you embarrassed. It means you truly feel me here with you." For a moment, they sat in silence, only the evening breeze filling the air. Yin still kept her head down, but her small smile couldn't be hidden. Jungkook squeezed her hand more firmly, his thumb gently stroking the back of her hand, as if to soothe her and assure her he would never let go. "Yin," Jungkook whispered again, "from now on, don't hold back so much. If you want something, just say it. If you want to hold my hand, just tug. I'll never refuse or be upset." Yin nodded faintly, her voice barely audible. "Okay, I'll try." Jungkook smiled in satisfaction, then, without hesitation, he gently patted the top of Yin's head. "Good girl." The park lights were already on, their dim golden glow adding warmth to the wooden bench where Yin and Jungkook sat side by side. The sound of the small fountain in the middle of the pond blended with the laughter of children heading home with their parents. The air grew cooler, and the night breeze occasionally swept strands of Yin's hair across her face. Their hands were still entwined, neither of them intending to let go. Yin occasionally shifted her gaze around the park, trying to hide her constantly blushing face. Meanwhile, Jungkook secretly watched every little movement she made. He couldn't suppress a faint smile. Yin was so shy, but that was exactly what made her look sweet and different from any other girl. But deep down, one question kept gnawing at Jungkook. What exactly does Yin want from me? That thought lingered in his mind. He knew Yin must have many things she wanted to experience, more than just holding hands, but her shy nature always held her back. If he asked her directly, she would surely get flustered, maybe even run away in embarrassment. Jungkook pondered for a moment, then an idea popped into his head. He turned to her, eyes glinting with playful mischief. "Baby," he called softly. Yin quickly turned, startled. Let's play something." Yin frowned. "Play something? What do you mean?" Jungkook raised an eyebrow, his face mysterious. "Truth or dare?" Immediately, Yin's eyes widened, and she quickly shook her head hard. "No, I don't want to." Jungkook chuckled, his shoulders shaking as he tried not to laugh. "Why? Afraid to lose?" "That's not it." Yin quickly turned her face away, her cheeks flaming red. "I don't want you to make me do something embarrassing, like when you played with Minju, Yoonwoo, and Jaehyun. I heard their dares are always weird." Jungkook laughed even harder, his voice breaking out. "Oh my god, do you really think I'd embarrass you? Me? To my own girlfriend?" Yin glanced at him suspiciously. Who knows? Maybe you would if you're being mischievous." "Not this time," Jungkook quickly interjected, his voice calm. "All right then, let's change the rules. No dare, only truth. But there's a condition." Yin blinked. "Condition?" "We both have to be honest. 100%. No lies. No dodging around." Yin fell silent, lowering her head. She bit her lower lip, thinking. Her shy side was afraid, but another part of her was curious. Slowly, she nodded. "Okay, only truth." Jungkook smiled in satisfaction. "Deal. And to make you more comfortable, you can ask first." Yin turned to him immediately, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Really?" "Really. Jungkook answered firmly. Now, Yin looked eager, as if she were seriously thinking of a tough question. She lifted her face, her brow furrowed, her small lips moving as if stringing words together. Jungkook couldn't hold back his smile, even chuckled softly. To him, Yin in serious mode like this, while still holding his hand tightly, looked irresistibly cute, sweet, and utterly endearing. "Why are you laughing?" Yin asked, pretending to be annoyed, her cheeks still flushed. Jungkook gazed at her gently, his eyes glowing warmly. "Because you're too sweet when you're thinking hard. It makes me impatient to hear your question." Yin quickly lowered her head again, but her grip only tightened. "Wait a second. I'm trying to come up with the best question." Jungkook grinned, his thumb stroking the back of her hand softly. "Take your time, baby. Tonight, I'm all yours." Those words made Yin's face grow even redder, her heart thumping wildly with happiness. She looked ahead, then sneaked a glance at Jungkook. With a voice so soft it was almost swallowed by the wind, she asked, "Jungkook, can I ask you something?" "Of course, that's the game, truth." Jungkook smiled faintly, his eyes warm yet teasing. He knew Yin's question this time would come straight from her heart. Yin bit her lip for a moment, then gathered her courage. "Have you ever liked another girl?" Jungkook held back a small laugh, the corner of his lips curving up. It seems my baby really is falling into this game," he thought. He gave her a meaningful look. "That's a good question," he murmured softly. Yin quickly ducked her head, her cheeks burning hotter. "Don't smile like that, just answer." Jungkook chuckled, then took a deep breath. "The answer is, no, I've never really thought about another girl, let alone had a crush. All my life, it's always been you. So my focus has only been you." The simple words pierced straight into Yin's heart. Her eyes widened, her chest pounding wildly. "You're joking, right?" "Do I look like I'm joking?" Jungkook replied, locking eyes with her. Yin looked down again, her voice small. "But we've had so many female classmates from childhood until now in college. You never liked even one of them?" Jungkook chuckled lightly, rubbing the back of his neck with his free hand. The rule was one question, one answer. He glanced at her playfully. "But fine, I'll make an exception this time." Yin straightened, her face full of curiosity. Jungkook leaned closer, still holding her hand tightly. "If I ever liked another girl, then that girl would be my girlfriend now." He smiled softly. "And the truth is, the one who's my girlfriend now is you." Yin froze for a moment, then covered her face with her hands. "Oh God, how can you say things that sweet?" But secretly, satisfaction filled her heart. She felt reassured, like all her doubts had melted away with that one answer. Jungkook chuckled, then leaned back casually. "Now it's my turn." Yin turned quickly, her heart pounding even harder. What?" Jungkook hid a wide grin. "Truth. What's your wildest imagination about me?" Yin's eyes went wide in shock. "What?" "Answer honestly." Jungkook narrowed his eyes, pretending to be serious. I don't want to answer." Yin stammered, her face red all the way to her ears. "That question is outrageous." Jungkook tried not to laugh, but his voice was gentle when he said, "If you don't answer honestly, then you'll have to take a punishment. Dare." Yin glared at him. "What? You said no dare." "That's only if we both answer truthfully. If one of us lies or refuses to answer, then there has to be a punishment." He winked mischievously. "And trust me, a dare from me would definitely not be something you want." Yin swallowed hard, her face growing even hotter. "You're mean." "So, truth or dare?" Jungkook leaned closer, his smile full of eager curiosity. Yin squirmed nervously, then finally gave in. "Fine, I'll answer." Jungkook straightened, his eyes sparkling with anticipation. "Finally." With a shy whisper and her head lowered, Yin said, "I once imagined holding your hand." Jungkook raised an eyebrow, pretending to be unsatisfied. "That's all?" Yin quickly shook her head, her cheeks glowing redder. "No, there's more." Jungkook leaned even closer. "What else?" Yin swallowed, then said timidly, "I once imagined that when we were sitting watching something at the apartment, I'd cling to your arm and rest my head on your chest, or on your shoulder." Jungkook fell silent for a moment, staring at Yin, who looked even more flustered. "And that's it?" Yin nodded firmly, this time, as if to close the matter. "Yes, that's it." Jungkook froze, stunned for a moment. He rubbed his face, bit his lip, and massaged his temple. "Gosh, baby, so your imagination is that pure?" Yin quickly turned toward him, her face burning. "Why? You thought I imagined something inappropriate, didn't you?" Jungkook smiled playfully. "What do you mean by inappropriate?" His tone was deliberately teasing, even challenging. Yin gasped, then hastily turned her face away. Her cheeks burned crimson all the way to her ears. I didn't say anything. Jungkook chuckled softly, gazing at her full of affection, murmuring inwardly, "My innocent baby, pure inside and out." Then, Yin's voice was soft, almost a whisper. "Now it's my turn. I'll ask you the same question." Jungkook turned, one eyebrow arched, a faint smirk playing on his lips. His eyes glinted mischievously. "The same question? Are you sure you want to know?" Yin swallowed hard. "Yes, it's true, right?" she replied quickly, though her voice trembled with nerves. Jungkook leaned in slightly, closing the space between them. In a low, deep voice, he asked, "Baby, are you ready to hear it?" Yin fidgeted, flustered. "Why do you have to ask me that first? If you have to answer honestly, then just say it." Even so, her eyes betrayed her curiosity. Jungkook pretended to think, stroking his chin. Honestly, I've imagined so many things about us, from little things to bigger ones, but if the question is about the wildest one." He paused, gazing at Yin with a mysterious look. Thump. Yin's heart pounded wildly. "Oh God, why am I the one getting nervous?" she cursed inwardly. Seeing her tense face, Jungkook gave her a sly glance. "Why don't you try to guess first?" Yin's eyes widened. How would I know?" She instinctively gave his chest a light smack with her free hand. "You're just trying to make me nervous." Jungkook chuckled, his shoulders shaking. "Come on, just guess. It doesn't have to be right. I just want to know how far my baby's thoughts go." Yin huffed, then shrugged in defeat. I don't know. Maybe holding hands or hugging?" she muttered, her voice barely audible. Jungkook raised his brows, feigning disappointment. "That's it?" Yin snapped her head toward him. "Yes, what else would it be?" That mischievous smile crept back onto Jungkook's lips. He leaned closer, his voice almost a whisper in her ear. "If you're asking me the wildest, it's more than just holding hands, hugging, or even kissing." Yin froze, stiff as stone. Her eyes went wide, her face burning hot all the way to her ears. Jungkook only chuckled softly, his expression teasing yet warm. "What? You asked? Didn't you?" "I'm just answering honestly." Yin buried her face in both hands, desperate to hide. "Oh my God, why was I so stupid to ask that?" Jungkook laughed quietly, then gently pulled her hands down from her face. "Hey, don't hide. You look so cute when your face is this red." "It's not cute, it's embarrassing." Yin pouted, though her grip on his hand stayed tight, refusing to let go. Jungkook gazed at her for a long moment, his smile softening. "Baby, it's exactly because you're this shy that I like you even more. You look so cute." Yin huffed again, but her eyes sparkled, her heart overflowing with feelings she couldn't explain, embarrassed, flustered, yet undeniably happy. "You're so annoying," she muttered under her breath. Jungkook chuckled, leaning in closer, whispering, "Annoying. But you can't let go of me, can you?" Yin quickly turned her face toward the pond, hiding the smile tugging at her lips. I'm not answering that." "No need," Jungkook replied, squeezing her hand tighter. "Your answer's already clear, from how tightly you're holding me now." "Yes." Yin was still clutching his hand firmly. Her face had been crimson since that last question, her head ducked, refusing to meet his eyes. Jungkook smiled at her antics. "Baby," he said softly, "let's keep going. There are still so many questions we could ask." Yin shook her head furiously. "No, I don't want to anymore." "Why?" Jungkook narrowed his eyes, pretending to be confused. "It was just getting fun." Yin's face grew hotter. I'm not ready for more weird questions. It's just too embarrassing." Jungkook chuckled quietly, his voice low and soothing. He lifted her hand, still clasped in his, and gave the back of it a gentle pat. "All right then, we'll stop here. No more questions." The game ended. Their conversation drifted to lighter things. Jungkook told her about their business professor who always wore ridiculous, colored TIs, making Yin laugh. Yin shared how Mina had panicked after walking into the wrong class last week, making Jungkook laugh so hard his eyes crinkled. The mood was light, easy. They exchanged glances every now and then, only to quickly look away, afraid of being caught staring too long. But then, Yin's heartbeat grew restless again. She stole a glance at Jungkook, sitting relaxed, one hand in his jacket pocket, the other still holding hers. His expression calm, his faint smile, his eyes full of warmth. Without realizing it, her body inched closer. The space between them shrank to just a few centimeters. Her heart raced. Sweat dampened her palm in his grip. She bit her lip, hesitating. Then finally, with slow but steady movement, Yin rested her head on Jungkook's shoulder. Jungkook froze. His eyes widened briefly before a warm smile spread across his face. He tilted his head slightly, seeing Yin with her eyes closed, her face red, clearly trying to hide her embarrassment. Yin. Jungkook's voice was hushed, filled with tenderness. This is the first time you've made the move, isn't it? Yin whimpered softly, covering part of her face with her free hand. Don't say that, I'm embarrassed. Jungkook chuckled, then shifted slightly to make her more comfortable. His shoulder became her steady, warm pillow. I love this. You're cuddling up to me like this. Yin let out a tiny huff, lightly poking his chest with her small fingers. Jungkook, stop teasing me. Just let me stay like this, she mumbled shyly. Jungkook laughed softly, his hand coming up to gently pat her head with affection. Alright, stay like this as long as you want. Sweet silence fell. Only the sound of the fountain and the breeze filled the air. Yin's heart gradually calmed. Jungkook's chest swelled with warmth, thrilled that Yin was finally brave enough to express what she wanted. The night grew later. Inside the car, the silence was warm and intimate. Soft music from the radio drifted in the background, while Yin sat in the passenger seat, her heart still fluttering with joy because tonight, what she'd only dared to imagine had finally come true, holding Jungkook's hand and leaning against his chest. Before long, the car pulled up in front of the apartment building where Yin lived with Dalmi. Thank you, Jungkook, for bringing me home, she said softly, still sounding bashful. She reached for her bag, ready to open the door, but before she could, a warm hand gently caught her wrist. Startled, Yin turned quickly. Jungkook, she asked, eyes wide in confusion. Jungkook looked at her deeply. A faint smile touched his lips, but there was seriousness in his eyes. Without a word, he leaned in closer. At that instant, Yin froze. Her heart seemed to stop, only to thunder wildly. What are? Before she could finish, Jungkook closed the distance. His lips pressed to hers, gentle, careful, as though afraid of startling her. Yin's eyes flew wide, her body stiff, but only for a moment. The warmth of it melted her resistance. Slowly, her eyes fluttered shut, and she returned the kiss, hesitant at first, then following Jungkook's calm rhythm. Silence. The world seemed to vanish. It was only them, in the quiet car. Jungkook held the kiss for a while, enough to convey all the feelings he'd been holding back. Then he slowly pulled away, still gazing at her from close up. Yin's face was flushed deep red. Her breathing was a little shaky, her eyes shimmering with nerves and happiness. You. Her voice trembled. Why all of a sudden? Jungkook smiled faintly, brushing her cheek with his thumb. Because I couldn't hold back anymore. I've wanted to do that for so long, but I waited, and now, I couldn't wait any longer. Yin bit her lip, glancing down, then back up. I was surprised, but I'm happy. Jungkook let out a small laugh, relief and joy in his expression. That means, our first kiss was a success, huh? Yin quickly covered her face with her hands, mortified. But Jungkook gently pulled her hands down again. Hey, don't hide. I want to see your face right now. Yin squirmed, flustered. Jungkook. He leaned in closer, whispering in her ear, and don't forget, you're my girlfriend, so this kiss is mine alone. Yin instinctively smacked his chest lightly. You're impossible. Now go home, and don't forget to text me when you get there. Jungkook smiled. Okay, baby. Time had flown by. They had already graduated from college, and it had been 6 months since they both started working. And today, at a luxurious hotel in Bizen that stood proudly by the seaside, Yin and Jungkook's wedding celebration had just ended. Yin sat at the vanity in their hotel room, still in her beautiful white gown, though it was slightly wrinkled after being worn the whole day. Her hair, once neatly styled, now flowed loose around her shoulders, her face showing both exhaustion and happiness. She stared at her reflection in the mirror, a small smile forming without her realizing. I'm really married to Jungkook, my childhood friend, my love, she whispered in her heart. The hotel room door opened, and Jungkook had just returned after seeing off the last of the business associates among their guests. He carried 2 glasses of water and set them down on the table. Baby, drink this first. You must be tired. Yin turned and smiled sweetly. Thank you. She took the glass, sipped a little, then set it back down. For a moment, silence filled the room, broken only by the faint sound of waves crashing in the distance. Jungkook walked closer, stopping right behind Yin. He looked into the mirror, his gaze lingering on the girl who was now officially his wife. Slowly, he bent down, resting his chin on her shoulder. I can't believe it. You're finally mine officially. Yin smiled shyly, fiddling with the edge of her gown. I can't believe it either. It feels like a dream. Jungkook chuckled softly, then kissed her temple. Then, let's make sure this isn't a dream. Yin immediately felt heat rising through her body. She knew exactly what he meant. His eyes had been giving off signals all evening, gentle but unmistakable. Tonight was their wedding night. Jungkook turned her chair slowly so she faced him. He gazed at her deeply, lifting her chin with a finger. Baby, may I start? His voice was low yet tender. Yin bit her lip, then gave a small nod, but suddenly, she caught his hand. Wait, just a second. Jungkook froze, watching her with questioning eyes. Yin took a breath, then spoke softly but firmly. Do you remember? We agreed? We want to delay having children for about 2 years. I still want to focus on work, and you'll be busy too. Jungkook was silent for a moment, then a warm smile spread across his face. He stroked her cheek gently. I remember, and I'll always respect your wish. Yin sighed in relief, her eyes sparkling. Thank you. Suddenly, Jungkook's smile shifted into a playful grin. He walked over to his suitcase, unzipped it, and returned with something in his hand. Yin frowned curiously. What's that? Jungkook lifted the item, 3 sealed boxes of condoms. His grin widened, his eyes glinting with mischief. Remember these? Yoonwoo gave them to me back in college. I kept them all this time. Yin froze for a second, then burst into laughter, covering her face with both hands. Oh my god, I almost forgot those even existed. Seriously, you actually kept them all this time? Jungkook chuckled, sitting on the edge of the bed while playfully shaking the box. Of course, I thought, maybe one day it would come in handy. And it turns out, tonight is the time. Yin huffed but couldn't hide her broad smile. Her cheeks flushed. You're unbelievable. How can our wedding night end up feeling this adorable? Jungkook shrugged, gazing at her with deep affection. Because that's us. Even embarrassing things turn sweet when we're together. Yin grabbed a small pillow and buried her face in it, her voice muffled. I'm so embarrassed. Jungkook leaned down, gently pulling the pillow away, then whispered in her ear. There's no need to be embarrassed, baby. Tonight, it's just you and me in this room. Yin turned her head, her eyes shimmering as a small smile curved her lips. I trust you. Jungkook smiled, setting the 3 boxes on the nightstand. Then, let's make tonight unforgettable. Yin gripped his hand tightly, her face red but glowing with happiness. You really do know how to make me feel embarrassed and safe at the same time. Jungkook held her gaze for a long moment, then leaned in, capturing her lips in a gentle kiss. The kiss was warm, sweet, and full of love, not just passion, but the kind of love they had nurtured since childhood. That night, in their luxurious hotel room in Bizen, 2 hearts once bound only by friendship truly became one as husband and wife. With soft laughter, shy blushes, and tender love, they began a new chapter of their lives together.